Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and I'm going to share with you why this red is not worrisome like it was in 2015, 16, 17, or 2018. I'm also going to answer the number one question that I had in yesterday's video, and also details on where a big Ripple executive has moved to and why you should pay attention to the blockchain that she is now representing. And who is promoting XRP to institutional investors even after the SEC claim? That is interesting. So first, Ripple has a big annual event every year, and it's called Swell. This year, the keynote speaker was Sheila Warren. She is the head of the blockchain at the World Economic Forum. And a couple of days ago, she spoke with CNBC about Bitcoin. I want you to listen to her point of view.
Well, I do think that we're going to see probably more institutional investment. I mean, certainly we went out big last year and early this year with that, and the recognition by institutions that Bitcoin can serve as a store of value. In my mind, that is kind of a proven concept. It's sort of a done deal. I think we'll continue to see Bitcoin as part of a portfolio diversification strategy. Bitcoin isn't correlated with the usual investments. There's a lot of liquidity people are sitting on right now, and so I do think we'll see more of this kind of engagement. Whether at the scale of some of the movement we've seen of these big players, I'm not so sure, but I don't think that investment in Bitcoin is going anywhere. That's for sure.
So she doesn't see it going anywhere, that's for sure. And Grayscale, who reportedly owns 3% of Bitcoin, can you imagine? Well, they have their first real competitor. This is Arca with their Arca Bitcoin Trust. They are founders from Southern California, not Silicon Valley. And what they're going to do that is really significant is they're going to cut the minimum investment from $50,000, which Grayscale has, down to $25,000. And there was an article with Markets Media where the CIO, Jeffrey Dorman, said that the aim of Arca is to be the BlackRock of digital assets. So now, with many firms fighting for these high wealth clients and institutional investors, I actually see an entry point is going to get probably lower and lower and lower. I predict minimum investments will probably be as low as $10,000 for the accredited investor. And that will probably happen this year. And it's not stopping at Bitcoin. Listen to Jeremy Dorman here of Arca speaking to NASDAQ just a couple of days ago about DeFi, decentralized finance. This is so interesting, just 1 minute, and he talks about why it's taking off so fast.
And decentralized finance, in our opinion, is really the first solution that we've ever had, right? It's one thing if since the inception of banks, I guess banks have been using and investing, using investing in digital assets really difficult, right? Like there's no connection between the two worlds. That's fine if you want to have a distinct digital asset ecosystem here and it's a distinct equity and bond ecosystem over here. But when banks and brokerages start restricting what assets people can and can't trade and making sweeping decisions with regards to where you can spend your money and how you can spend your money, it starts to rekindle a narrative for why decentralization is so important in the first place, right? Rules and regulations are fine, but arbitrary restrictions and dictatorships are where people start to really get upset. So that's why I think decentralized finance is taking off so fast right now. It's finally the solution to the problems that have been bubbling for 10 or 12 years with mistrust and centralized ownership.
So interesting to hear him speak about DeFi like that because of the mistrust and the centralized ownership. And King Solomon today, yeah, I think he was spot on. He said that Flare is building something very big. Yeah, what Flare is building is big. I couldn't agree more. He is so right. The announcement that Flare brought us is that XLM, Lumens, is going to now integrate onto the platform, and it's going to come onto Flare, providing that trustless gateway to Stellar. Decentralization, really, everyone, is far too important for maximalism. Ecosystems, as they wrote, must be united. So you probably won't hear me talking down too many projects. Japan today announced that they are now rounding up the powers to be through this DeFi alliance, and they timed this announcement with the DeFi alliance from the West. More than 50 investors, big time investors, like Shark Tank's Mark Cuban? Mike Cuban. Why do I all of a sudden forget Cuban's first name? I want to say it's Mark. Oh my gosh, I just don't know. Mark Cuban. Sorry, I just don't know why I kind of went blank on his name. But also Michael Arrington of Arrington XRP Capital, and huge wealth management firms like Susquehanna and Cumberland. Yeah, they want to grow DeFi to, look at this, 1 billion users by 2025. They're going to focus on NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, and they're going to focus on Asia and also education for the short term. Now, yesterday, I really did try my best to simplify the airdrops that are for the XRP holders and for the Spark holders. And at Stedas on Twitter, he hit a home run with his visual card today. Yeah, the number one question I had was, how much exactly will the DFLR be part of that snapshot? Just the 15% that we're getting when we do get the distribution of the Spark token? Yes, the claim amount is 15%. But look at this. There is going to be just one Spark token to give you 500 of the Flare Finance tokens, this DFLR. So this is an interesting distribution. So I'm going to put a link to this in the description below. You can see that the snapshot for XRP holders was December 12th. The second question I got was, if I missed that snapshot, is there like a second chance? No, I'm sorry. You'll have to go out onto the exchanges once the distribution is done sometime in Q2, because a lot of those tokens will probably end up on exchanges for people who don't really want to participate in the DeFi ecosystem, which is really, I think they're going to have second thoughts when they see the kind of rewards that they can get, and even get involved without any risk to their token by just delegating a vote, for example, to a signal operator. So I think a lot of people are going to hang on, but obviously there's going to be some people who choose to sell their Spark tokens. So you'll have to get it on the secondary market, if you will, through an exchange if you missed the December 12th snapshot. And the distribution date, yeah, it says April or sometime between April or June. So could be May, could be June, but it's going to come soon. The thing about the Flare Finance airdrop is that it will take place, that snapshot, 30 days after the Flare network's main launch. Okay, so 30 days after that distribution date of Spark. And then you'll have 7 to 10 days, it says here, to claim. So anyway, I really want to thank Stedas for putting this together. This is really, really helpful. That will be a link in the description below to where you can find Stedas on Twitter. Now, I spent some time on XRP Bag's channel today. He was live and on the beta test for Flare Finance. Yeah, it's truly amazing to witness people that would have never have the chance of meeting an accredited investor minimum, if you will, achieving this active participation in the ecosystem. It just makes me want to cry because I see how that ridiculous level playing field is really coming to fruition with the decentralized finance. Yeah, I'm not kidding. So the Flare Finance Discord, holy cow, it was active. Yeah, even though it was just full of a lot of going on, I did have a question and it was answered. So I really encourage anybody who is interested in the Flare Finance DeFi solutions and products. This is the place to go for information. And when it comes to blockchain or DLT, distributed ledger technology, please, you cannot assume there is only one solution. The central bank digital currencies, the CBDCs, and in that phase 2 that was announced where China and the UAE are joining Hong Kong and Thailand, this DLT phase 2 step was awarded to consensus. So no, you cannot assume just because it's DLT that this is Ripple. You're not doing yourself any favor by making those assumptions. And another example of a solution in play is one that is part of the new world for Marjan Delatine. She's a former Ripple executive. She announced on Thursday that she is going to join SETL. And I just want to let you know a little bit about SETL. SETL is, well, it's a company that had to reorganize its finances, but it got over that hump. It has received funding from Citi, Deloitte, Credit, Agricole, and it is not an open source blockchain. It's permissioned. And on the 19th of January, they completed the central bank digital currency CBDC transaction live settlement for the Bank of France. So they are one that is really, I think, a blockchain to pay attention to. And Ripple wrote in their latest insights that 40% of a bank's operating cost is going to payments. It's a lot, 40%. And so this is why more and more digital asset companies, like the investor in Uphold and also the co-founder of Global ID, that would be Greg Kidd, is looking more and more like a bank. Here he has actually released an XRP debit card with up to 5% cash back in XRP. Those rewards will go into your Global ID wallet powered by Uphold. Yeah, you can spend it anywhere that MasterCard is accepted. Greg Kidd, the former chief risk officer at Ripple, is very much a futurist. I participated as a beta user for his Global ID project in 2018. And he totally was on my radar then, and he's totally on my radar now. He is a real visionary. And speaking of visionaries, well, you know, I am a big Mr. Kitao fan. He's the CEO and leader, visionary of SBI. He recently invested 8 figures. These investment amounts are just unbelievable. 8 figures into Sygnum Digital Bank. And even after the case against Ripple from the SEC, Sygnum Bank released a video about the 3 digital assets that they recommend exposure to. And yes, it's XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. And there is a direct portion of this video that talks about why they chose XRP. I'll put a link to this in the description below. This was part of a webinar with a targeted audience of institutional investors. So this is, I think, very, very important. All right, everybody, we're jumping to the fluff, and we're going to go to the earliest cherry blossom to bloom in Japan, and that is the kawazu cherry tree. It's in full bloom right now, and this cherry tree is, well, it's all over Japan, and it just in this Tokyo area, this happens to be Kanagawa, it is really, really beautiful right now. And one of the Instagram spots is in Kanagawa, south of here, really close, just just south of us. There is looks like a pedestrian bridge. Yeah, Hodokyo, and there is a spot that a lot of people choose to take a picture, and they wait for the train to come through. And if you look carefully, you can see the driver of this train, and he has his hand up. What exactly is he doing? He's flashing the peace sign. This is so common in Japan, and I think it has caught on all over the world. I want to share with you one of the probably most plausible reasons why that started in Japan, and now, of course, it really is globally done. But there's a couple of stories as to why, and I believe this one is the most believable. So this is Peggy Fleming. She was an Olympic skater. She was a gold medal winner in 1968, and when she was practicing on the ice, there was an Asahi Shimbun, a Asahi newspaper photographer and writer covering the Olympics there. And when she fell during a practice, she flashed the peace sign to the photographers who were, just click, 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 taking pictures of her. And what I think the Japanese didn't know, but now we do know, is Peggy Fleming was a really big peace activist in her day. If you research, you can see she was very active. And when she ended up on the front page of the Asahi newspaper here, the Japanese people didn't put her peace sign with the thought process of being a kind of demonstration of her activism. No, they all thought it was so kawaii, so cute, so cute. So girls in Japan, when their picture was taken, they all started to give the peace sign. And after, how many years now? Almost 60 years later, this peace sign, when you have your photograph taken, is now just almost a global phenomenon. So that is your fluff for the day. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.